Hands on helmet. 10 seconds.
Welcome. I'm Chris McKean.
And I'm Andy Kiner.
We're all about cross-country racing, and typically it starts with 10 seconds.
Yeah, typically. But not in Iowa. Actually, in Iowa, it does. It starts with hands-on helmets. It just didn't in Missouri this weekend.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Man, it just seems like we got home. Haven't really got to rest back up.
We did just get home.
Got home, and you have some conflicts with your work, so I'm a little podcast a little bit early this week.
Yeah, I found out this morning that we were going to be working until 7 o'clock for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, no. And then kind of got lucky when all of a sudden they popped up and said, oh, we're letting you off 4 tonight. So I figured call Chris and get it done tonight. So even though I hadn't really done my research and, my organization and stuff for tonight, I figured I'd just try to wing it.
that you didn't get to prepare and have an outline of what we're going to talk about?
I didn't. I apologize for not getting with you.
Okay. Yeah, we count on you for all of that. Yes, thanks.
Tonight I'll just go off your, your lead.
It's going to be a short, quiet podcast.
I'm going to keep you to an hour.
Oh, thanks. That's the request from all your friends, is that we keep you to an hour. So
until we do that, then they'll ask for more.
But man, what a weekend. I felt, I came home really late Saturday night, got home, I think it was just right before midnight Saturday night, and got a few hours of sleep, and then right back up yesterday, got all the results posted. So those were quietly put out there, and then also got all the afternoon results posted as well. So
nice. Appreciate that. Had some calls today
referring everybody to live scoring. That was all up to date. And we were reviewing things here and there. We had some unusual lap times kind of stick out. So I had a busy afternoon with the adults. So I can't say it was nice. It was only 3 laps. The issues were minimal, but it kept me busy.
Yeah. No, I understand. I thought it was going to be a nice, easy day for you, and then everything started happening. But
so, if we're going to start off, I think you got to start off Friday night. Last minute touches of the adult. There's still work to be done, even though we had everybody pre-register. You still had to come in and check in. We want to make sure everybody was accounted for, so we were keeping close tabs on that, because we did something unusual this race. Instead of registering and putting everybody into the databases as they come up, we kind of tried it, since everybody was pre-registered. We thankful for your wife. Kudos to her that she went in and registered all 204, I believe what was the total entries. So everybody was entered. So we had to just make sure everybody was there. We had a few that
200. You say 204?
204 was the count, and then I believe it's 199. We had to pull some out. Some couldn't make it to the race. a failure, I think, on the way to the parade.
Yep.
Yep, just a couple pull-outs. So
I thought someone said a count of 204 actually went through the parade.
I can get
But
you that number.
maybe not. Not a huge deal. So yeah.
So yeah, I was I got to hear some of the some of the speakers, I guess, or some of the 4x4 M-Bike guys that were talking, kind of giving some insight on the history in the past. So it was good to hear. What was kind of your perspective of all of that?
I've been getting text messages ever since then. I went live on Facebook a couple times just so,
Yep.
I still don't think a majority of the people understood what it was all about. There wasn't as many people as I thought would come up there. There's still a lot in the pitch, hanging out. And I think it's, I don't think some of them really knew how to appreciate what was really the opportunity there. But it was cool. I mean, we heard stories and, just about racing and everything, and it was just so neat to hear that stuff and interact with Mike. And you could just tell Mike was pretty happy about it, seeing everybody there and just hearing everything. It was just really cool. And the ones that took the time to come up and be a part of it and watch it and listen to it, man, I can't thank him enough. It's pretty special. I mean, there's just nowhere you could ever go and see that. Last reunion and it was just fun to literally, I would have paid the gate admission just to sit there, Chris, and just listen and watch them guys. It was unbelievable. So yeah. And the silent auction, we started there on Friday. That was amazing. I always get worried, Chris, on silent auctions, at the banquet and stuff. And this was no different, even though it was for, Mike and everything. It was still a nerve wracker because I only knew of them like maybe 3 or 4 things that were coming for sure, and then thanks to Michael Swift and Tayton Swift and Sarah Penland, they started making some calls and it was just, I don't know, it just all came together and there's so much stuff there, and but I just been busy. Maybe I'll do that for you next time.
Okay. So yeah, I'm glad that can you say how much actually was raised during that? I know we're kind of like skipping around.
I think it was $3,205 was raised. Yep.
Oh, good.
And then maybe not everybody heard it, but we announced it up there at the uptown before we started. All the invites was not even going to charge an entry fee. That was something that them coming.
And I don't know, it caught us off guard a little bit. So what were you thinking when you got out of that trailer, brushing your teeth as we were all making fun of you?
Well, when you asked me that, what did I tell you in a split second?
No,
nothing. And I don't mean it. I really believe this, Chris. And I don't know if I always think, I don't know what it was about this weekend, but nothing was going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had it set. We were going to stick to it. If it's a muddy race, it's cross country. You know what I mean? Lightning probably would have kept us from, obviously holding out a little bit, but I don't know what it was, but I didn't even think about it when you said that. No, we're not holding it off. And I remember walking out. If you want to know, my first thing is I walked out. It was cold. It was wet. And it wasn't even as bad as it was at like 4:30 that morning when I got up to go use the facilities outside, and that when I got up then, I mean, there was water everywhere. It was, and then we got up and everybody's coming in and they're sliding and spinning, and I was like, Lordy. And I remember, Chris, this is no joke. I looked up in the sky and I said, why? Everything that's going on, why we're doing this and everything. I just like, why? I didn't complain. I just asked a question, and you know what? We went with it. And it was later that day even during the youth race. So obviously we had an issue with our ambulance crew. I come to find out he got off, one of the gentlemen there that was driving, I guess, got off work late. I forget where he was, Trenton maybe, or he also works like that. But then he was supposed to be on the crew and drove straight there. And anyway, get off late. I wish they would have let us know, obviously, but they were a little over a half hour late getting there, and we can't start without them. So once again, you're kind of looking in the sky. Why? Why is this happening? And but you still don't break, you don't bend. You just kept going, and we got started late. That race went perfect almost. We got through it. We got started, the little guys, pretty close to being on time, and we made all that up and we got started. We're a little, I think, behind when we actually started our writers meeting, but that went, I thought, pretty well, and we got lined up, and by the time I think we were lining up and how both of those tracks, I mean, even like a half hour into the youth class, I was down there, or one of the places I was honestly kind of concerned about it being wet, and we had so many spectators and parents there to help, and they did have to help a couple times in that sand. But yeah, it was unbelievable. And I remember looking up and looking up the sky again, Chris. And that time it was like, thank you. I understood why then. That rain was such a blessing. It set up the track to be absolutely perfect. It was like the dust control that we all needed, everything. It just created that perfect atmosphere, and man, I don't know, that old Garth Brooks song, how does that go, about some of God's greatest gifts or unanswered prayers, when you're like, please, good weather, please, and it's like, why, but nope. So ended up being a great day for weather-wise.
I honestly thought with all the rain, I was like, this is setting up to be a 4x4 race. Like it was just setting up, if it was going to continue to rain, the purpose, was just 4x4. So, but yeah, 10 o'clock, the sun came out, started drying things up, turned into a beautiful day.
Yes, it did. It was almost picture perfect race weather if you were a racer. It's just hard to really get any better. Dust was not an issue. The track was almost perfect when it came to moisture level. There were some, a couple muddy sections where, the water obviously affected a little bit, but it was perfect. You just couldn't ask for a better scenario for an XC race. And man, so grateful for it. It was unbelievable.
So I didn't get to see, we kind of skipped over. How'd the awards go for the youth? We can kind of talk about both classes. How many smiles ear to ear did you see handing out those Penlands? And
are you talking outside of Mike? Because Mike was smiling pretty big by himself.
Well, how are the kids? I mean, I talked to so many kids Friday. There's a certain one that, him and I talked for a while. We had a deal worked out. Not going to throw him under the bus by name, but we did have a deal that if he won, we were supposed to share the trophy. He broke my heart Saturday after he won, told me that he couldn't hold his end of the bargain. So
he let you down, huh?
He let me down, but how was that awards ceremony?
It was really good. And, and we made the decision that it was going to take a little longer than normal, because I did not want to hand out a Penland. When we had the opportunity, that very first race, Mike handed out every single one of those. And he took so much pride. Those kids went to him, and, it'll just forever be something special to me. And I hope they never forget it, and the parents never forget it. That extra couple minutes per class, when Mike would actually hand them that trophy, and get a picture with them. That was just really cool. That was probably one of my highlights of the day for sure, is just seeing him be there, being able to do that. And you know how we've talked so many times about, you know, passing this on to the youth, you know, and getting them to understand, you know, who Mike is and where he came from and what he's done for us as a whole in the sport. That was perfect, you know, and yeah, it was just perfect. So, but they had a lot of smiles for sure. And, you know, I seen a lot of parents getting pictures afterwards with them, you know, and Mike, and it was really cool.
I saw so many pictures yesterday and popping up on my feed today of everybody, all the winners posing with Mike, and even not the ones who didn't just get the Penlands, but the second place on. They were happy just to be there, be present, and with the legend himself.
Yep, exactly.
So after we got through the kids, you know, you kind of got pulled away. You're helping out, trying to get all the adults lined up about 11 o'clock or so in there when we're staging area, I guess you can say. As we were all busy, you know, never enough hands, it seems like, when it comes to crew. But you were getting everybody lined up. That go okay? 200,
yeah,
let's 200 is the number here.
So I want to be clear. I can't take credit for that, because when I finally went down there, Chris, after the writers meeting, I got stopped there at Penland's. He was getting ready to come down to help lead the parade. So when I got there, Chris, I truly did nothing to line them up. When I got down there, I got to thank the writers. You know, there's a lot of people that questioned, why are we doing it here? Let's just run downtown and line up, you know. I think it would have taken forever down there to get people in the right spot, know where they're going and stuff, you know. But went down there. We had Kurt Cornelius took the bull by the horns and started doing that right away. And then Brady went down and started helping him. And those two, when I got down there, Chris, it was done. There was very few riders still coming. So give the riders credit. You know, they just all listened. And they got down there and they lined up, and it was perfect. I mean, it was nice. And when we got ready to go, everybody was ready. That's when everything started clicking, you know, and the kids' races all went well, you know, so the whole day it was. But for us to leave and get down there on time, basically, was amazing. You know, that was huge. And I hate that you obviously couldn't get down there to see it, you know. But Chris, you know, we've done a lot. You and I going places and races and everything. But man, I took off, and I was leading with Mike right behind me, and all the guys behind me. And sorry, Trace is asking where I am. I'm on the podcast, Trace. But anyway, we're going down there, and I didn't really look behind me yet. I had one of the camera guys on behind me, and we're talking going down, and all of a sudden I heard him say, "Who's that?" And I look up, and I'm just kind of looking off the side. There's some people sitting, and I happen to see what he's talking about. And up front, there was tons of people, like up by the square, and they were like walking. They were walking towards us, you know, like down the hill. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, there's more people up here than I thought there would be. And I turn around, and Chris, I ain't joking. I turned around, and I had to kind of, if you see in the video I was watching today, it's showing it, and you see me all of a sudden go to the left. Well, I went to left because with Penland right behind me in the side by side, and he had a camera guy in the back, I couldn't quite see like what I wanted to see, and I slid over to the left so I could see. I was blown away. I mean, I know I went blank, and like I had a tear in my eye. It was it's one of the coolest things ever.
I got to see some of the videos, and when you guys coming over the hills, coming into town, and kind of everybody gathering by the square, like this big, what would 205 with all of you guys up front and then everybody in the back. Wow, what a sight from the videos.
Yeah.
So,
And here's the thing. And I know we had some guys question why we were doing the invite thing. People, we had 2 or 3 guys think they should be in there, all this and that. And it all, even if you ever wondered if you were in my position or you were up in front watching, I knew some of the guys obviously were in there that didn't race. And if you got to look back, especially once I got out of the way, and you had Mike and Sarah Penland leading that, and everything behind you, that first row behind you, think about that. Michael Swift, Caton Swift, Scott Kilby, Rob Smith. Who was the other one? I'm missing one.
Wasn't Graham. He'll be.
Graham was in the second one. He's trying to hide him.
Trantham, right?
Trantham, yeah. It was just amazing because those are guys that, that was, let's just say that's Penland's boys, that's the guys that he brought up and, and had so much to do with. And just seeing that picture was priceless, and looking back, looking up the hill and see all the people from Canesville. I don't know. If there was ever a question in anybody's mind, if we picked the right location, and you and I've talked about this several times, we pulled a race out of a town of 40,000 people, all the hotels, all the motels, all the restaurants you could ask for, in a great town. But we were just ready to make a change. And people questioned, why are we going to Canesville? There's absolutely nothing there, Well, we seen it Saturday. What was there was some of the best people we've ever met, some of the most welcoming people, that was there. And man, that's small town USA.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Perfect setting, perfect day, perfect weather. It was, amazing. But got everybody downtown safely, and there's some narrow roads. So I did see in some of the videos, and there were some spots I was a little worried about, and they played into, but the guys adapted. We're cross country racers. There ain't no little tiny bump or little rut that's going to stop them. They got around it. I seen one kind of go in the ditch a little bit to get around, and stuff.
Yeah.
The guys just adapted, and it was amazing, So.
Yep.
No, they all did a great job. They all got lined up really good. They all came up. They listened for the most part, during the riders meeting. A bunch of them, as soon as they got parked, they moseyed up there, looked at the start, looked down below, over the hill like I'd ask them to. It was awesome. I think we literally only had. Yeah, so let's fast forward to the starts.
The starts.
No. What's that?
Well, no, go ahead.
I was going to back up because before we did the starts, we got to talk a little bit about Mike,
Yeah.
And we got to introduce Mike to the crowd. We got to introduce, everybody else that was there from the invite, They all came up on stage and we introduced them, and we got to thank them, and they all thanked Mike and stuff. And then they walked over to the machines to get ready to go. And Chris, I'm not lying. You know how excited I was for this race, and it was like a 4 or 5 part deal, Chris, the building up to it, all the work, and the guys, and, thank God Adam was there, and both the Ryans down there, it's amazing, but somehow or another, it always works and it always comes together, but you're worried about it. And then the parade, well, I take it back. We already talked about Friday night, the story time. But then Saturday, we get ready. We have the riders meeting. We go to the parade. We get the parade done. It's like it was blowing me away. I don't know about everybody else, but it absolutely blew me away. And then we get up there and you're just waiting for something to go wrong, you know, but you can't think that way. And we get everybody introduced and everything. We're ready to go. I see Big Dean getting the mic, getting ready to start doing the announcing. You know, you and I talk for how many hours we talk about this has to go perfect. You know, it's got to be 20 seconds. It can't be 20 seconds, you know, just
crunching the math. And there was a lot of discussions about how we're going to do this. It's got to go off seamless. You know, it's our first attempt ever. And God, did we pull it off.
Man. I'll tell you what, I went over to pick up that sign, you know, and all the people from Canesville and the track was there, the families, and you're looking around. It's just like, oh, it's real. You know, it's everything, you know, we all thought about. It was like, it's really happening. You know, it's coming together. But when we were done and everybody's going back, it hit me, man. And I like went over just like normal. I go to pick up the board. And when I picked up the board, it hit me, Chris, like a ton of bricks. And I'm not joking. Man, I picked that up and I had to find my water bottle. I was ready to upchuck, you know, and I was so nervous. It wasn't even funny. And I haven't been that nervous in a long time. Man, I got a drink of water and I will go over there, you know, and I hadn't even practiced where to stand, you know. I'm like, nothing's clicking, you know, and I go over there and I look over and ready to go. And Dean was right on cue and started announcing. And it's like, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't think about it, couldn't do nothing, you know. And I heard him say 10 seconds. And I ain't kidding you. I reacted off of Dean the whole time. Dean did a great job. And he'd be 10 seconds, man. I stuck that thing out there the first time. And, you know, I don't have time to look. I didn't know what was happening really the whole time. I looked behind me to turn one. Everybody made it. And it's like, I got to look back because I could barely hear Dean. And I looked over and I could see his facial like 10 seconds, you know. And I'm like, oh, gotta go, you know. And man, he kept me on track the whole time. And like two or three times, like I counted like him just to see where I was at. And it was like 8-9 seconds. And he was saying 10 seconds, almost on cue at 10 seconds. So I just went off of him the rest of the time. I couldn't hear hardly at all once we got going, but I could read his face saying 10 seconds. And that was my cue. So it's like always, Chris, we never planned that. You know, we didn't talk about how we were really doing it. We were just going to go on the fly. And I'm just a big believer, man. If you know, it's like us talking on here. We probably ramble half the time, but if we don't know ATVs and the racing, we shouldn't even be talking about it, you know? And it was just like that. It's like with Dean and I, you know, what's that? I can't even think of those two funny guys who was, you know, I'm going to get lost here. Never mind.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe it was like almost 20 seconds. And some looking back at the start, it was like 20 seconds on the dot. You guys had it perfect. I think there was a hiccup somewhere. I'm going to say around, I think it was row 13, maybe. That's what I was thinking when I was going through it live. But everything else went smooth.
I think we had one person kill it, but they got it started fairly quick. Somebody went run out there perfectly to help, and he got it fired up, took off. And then somebody jumped a little bit and was trying to do it right. And he spun around and went back and got back in line, and we started really quick. So it wasn't bad at all. And I think I did have one guy jumped. I think I called it in. You know, I know I called in. I want to say it. I think it was like 348 or 148 or something. I remember being on the outside. He jumped right away. And I think that's the only one that got away with it on me. Everybody else was so good, you know, doing what they were supposed to do. And I think that was obviously an accident, you know, but it was just amazing. Everybody just did a great job. And we didn't have any issues in the corners. They all worked themselves out, going over the hill. I mean, everything. It was flawless. And I remember my boy, Brock walked over to me afterwards, and, it was just priceless, that fence pump,
Yeah.
We did it, Dad, and it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But
So,
then,
yeah.
And everybody right away was picking up, it was torn down. It was picked up so fast, except for the bales. Everybody just did what was asked of them, and half the time you don't even have to ask. They just do it. We've got such a great team. Man, they don't get enough credit. It was awesome.
Well,
really.
Speaking of team, it takes a lot to put this together. And I know you've got a list that you've gathered together kind of before we get into the rest of the afternoon results or what has transpired during that race. You have a list here. You want to go through that list?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go through it, buddy.
Thank
you. Thank
you. You have the list.
I have the list?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Which list?
Of everyone you would like to thank, alphabetical.
I have no list. Zero.
Well, I think, we got to start, with all the track guys.
Yeah.
I know.
And I know I'm going to leave somebody off because I literally came in right before, so I got no list done, but I'm glad you put me on the spot.
I love putting you on the spot. So a little short notice.
So let's just go with it, okay? So Paul Sirk.
Yes.
Big Joe Moore. Smalley. Ryan Riddlebarger, Dean Hansen, Jake Kelch, Brad Mathis, unbelievable. We got
Dalton boys. Well, they're no longer boys, but yeah.
Yeah, the Dalton dads were out there, Chad Goforth is out there on the dirt bike, I know I'm probably Ryan, a great help that day came in, just with like a week's advance was Bradley Burrows, came in there and was great help. I think he's found his calling. I think maybe he wants to be there every time, Bradley.
I saw him right before he had to leave. I think he had a wedding or something to go to and covered in mud and said he had a blast. So, but
that's the thing. It is a lot of work, Chris, out there. A different kind of work than what you're thinking of. You know what I mean? But it's amazing. And I truly think, the guys before and after, they have so much fun. During it, I'm not going to lie, it's tough. Them guys, it is tough on them. I know it is. And they just work their butts off. But I think they would all say it's rewarding, seeing the guys out there. And you can always get a couple of them that, don't get respected, but for the most part, it's amazing, and they were 100% bought into why we were doing it and everything. And it was awesome, but
let's go on with this list.
Yeah. Keep that list going. Who?
Kyle, Danny Graber.
Yep. Danny Graber.
Kyle Burnham.
Yep.
You have Brocky.
Brock. Brady.
And Brady.
Keep going.
Oh, I know I'm probably missing somebody from your crew. We have Cora, Tracy's mom, always at the gate, willing to help out.
Yep.
You got
Kyle Hayes.
Joe Lutz. I think you missed Joe Lutz off of that, but he's kind of he does all. I mean, everything.
Before and after.
Adults, he's just responsible for putting things up, tearing things down, picks up all the cones, everything.
Yep. Melinda.
You got Melinda.
Ricky Sirk.
Ricky Sirk. You forgot who I call him Big D.
Yep.
Dustin that helps out.
Morgan.
Yep. Then your wife, of course. You know, she
Okay, you
deserves
can thank her.
a lot of credit. I mean, yes, it was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we did to get ready. She helped out a lot. You have Tracy Green by registration. You have Tina Salisbury registration. You kind of have our floater, I call her Kim Ricketts, who helps me out with scoring. We did and double checked and triple checked while you guys were in the parade lap and kind of getting everybody ready. I think with your drivers meeting as well. Just putting the final touches on making sure we had everything so it would go off without a hitch from a scoring aspect. So transponders, we were checking rows, make sure everybody was lined up in the scoring in the system the way they should be.
Yep. And then on Wednesday night, it was really nice. Amanda Ratliff brought us pizzas for the whole crew and stuff, you know, and it was great gesture. We can't thank her enough, you know. And then on Thursday night, Tasha Scott, man, she's a heck of a cook. She made a really nice meal for everybody and set everything up down by the crew. And yeah, the crew, that was nice, not having to worry about any of that stuff. And there's not too many places around to go grab it easy, you know, and everybody's so busy. And man, we had a great spread that night. It was unbelievable. So, and then Ryan Wiley, Willie, I'm not sure how to say that one, and Ryan Scott, they helped us for many weekends before that race, helping, and then they were there helping that weekend, and one of them was racing. Ryan Scott was racing and stuff, but you know, we got a light tower, and they were working on that. It just Ryan Scott was actually the one that got us the gun for the silent auction. You know, that Lindsay Fetchner end up winning. So I'm jealous. I'm really jealous.
Yeah.
But yeah,
as much as I am for something else that you took from me.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up again. But yeah. And then of course, you know, the man, we can't thank anybody without going over it 10 times over with Adam Ratliff, you know. Yeah, yes. It was absolutely amazing. He's still working. He's the one picking up the arrows and stuff. And I mean, the time that he put in from the time that we started this to the time that, you know, of the race, and then racing. And then, you know, obviously now it's, I mean, I could go on all night and you're holding me to an hour. So I better calm down on that one, but we'll be forever thanking Adam for sure. So, and then I'm not going to mention any names on this, but this is just pretty special to me. And I was uptown. We were setting the race, or, you know, getting ready for the race on Friday morning. And one of the racers' family came in, and they pulled up there in the middle, like where we were. And so I pulled off to go say hi real quick. And the next thing I know, he's reaching his hand out to me. And I forgot about this. Sorry, guys, until I got home and hadn't cleaned up my pockets. I just moved my pockets over to my pants today. And I realized today at work, there was $100 bill in my pocket. And I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? And then it hit me. He had pulled over and reached out and handed me $100 bill. And he said, tell the crew thank you and get them whatever they would like to drink. So the next race, there was nowhere to get them what they wanted to drink there. So the next race, the guys know that much appreciation from one of the racers' family. Yeah, we got $100 bill for them to get whatever they want, and we'll make sure that they're happy. So appreciate that.
Like, isn't that like 60 to 75 Mountain Dews for Joe?
I don't think they'll let Joe have them. Joe's he comes to the cooler anyway, you know. So, but yep. So that was pretty cool. But got through the starts, got everything, Chris. It was the parade, the starts. I mean, you could just exhale. It's like, oh, it's good. Now it's just a race. I mean, now they're racing like we always do. It's, it is what it is. So, but yeah, obviously, we're picking up. We talked about to everybody about lap times and what's going to happen if you don't get on the course, and stuff. And I hate to say it, but we were exactly right. We were guessing 40 to 45 minutes is what we kept talking, and the first good lap came through at 46 minutes. And after that, the overall leader was turning 42, 43-minute laps, I think it was.
He got down 40, close to 40, if I remember. 40. He picked up the pace, and it was oh my God, Cooper Krug. Yeah, he was pulling some fast lap times, but it's not to say others weren't either. I see Colby Baker's listening in. Got to watch his video today over my lunch hour, and listen to it for the rest of the time. But God, that was amazing just to see the track.
Let's be honest. Did you see anything out of the ordinary when you're watching his?
I saw some stuff. Yeah, he's fast. Yeah, Derek Nimke's fast. What was it? 1 hour and 18-second mark. I think I saw on Colby's video that there was caution tape in the questionable spot that we thought the situation that happened for most of, we'll call it out the 40. Where the 40 made a turn, so and went the wrong way. So if we want to get into it, we feel, I think we've all kind of went over, and we kind of know the spot now that it's been shared. Gary Eads shared it on Facebook as well. About the 4 mile mark, took a wrong turn, got on the kids' course. Since the youth and the adults shared that, the first 3 miles or so, but got into on the youth course, and then ultimately ended up on the mile marker 13 roughly. So we feel that that first lap was about 8 to 9 miles off, and that explained the 20-minute lap time that we were seeing. 20 to 25, I think, is what the times were.
I probably should have mentioned to him in the writers' meeting or something that if you did get off course, it would definitely show. I wish I would have mentioned that.
I know. Those that listen, I think they heard you. That said, if you get off course, and we would know it right away. But I heard so many stories that people were going down that same path, saw they were not on the adult course, and turned back around. I heard that double egg riders did that. I've heard even open utilities that did that as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to keep this a positive note because it was all for Penland. It was a great weekend, but I don't want to go down a negative, but I mean, it's just too bad. I mean, Chris, and my kids probably are sick of me saying this, but in life, I always believe this. I always say this, and Brock, Brady, if they were watching, they could tell you how many times I've said it in my lifetime, but I've always said, Chris, you can tell a champion more by the way they lose than by the way that they win. Winning's easy, losing's tough,
It's tough.
And we seen it Saturday, we seen it, and unfortunately, sometimes people can't handle when stuff goes wrong, and the bad stuff comes out, and it's sad when the shade gets thrown instead of just accepting responsibility and moving on. It is, but we heard some crazy accusations, and some of them really hurt, but it is what it is, heck, I don't know. I mean, it's God, I mean, if you want to hear some of the funniest stuff, Chris, I don't know if you know this, but I was told that you said that there was somebody in the ladies that was getting a lap docked, and then went back and, and called the people and told them this, and stuff. And it's like, that would never happen. It's just like, it's almost like drama queens, trying to stir the pot, and we don't need it. I mean, we knew exactly who it was, and some of them names that were brought up never was, and so I don't understand the negativity, that's brought up into that, and just different stuff like that, and accusations towards Brent Benjagurdes because he works on the track, and we both heard the right story on how Brent got turned around.
Yeah.
It wasn't Brent that turned around, as somebody turned him around, and just I know I literally walk away and I truly laugh at the accusations when somebody it's kind of like when somebody's drunk, they really tell you how they feel,
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, it's like they're not thinking, so they just blurt stuff out, and it sounds so silly sometimes. And I don't know if I was in that situation, my kid would never race again, or I wouldn't go to the race again if I was doing some of that stuff. But I don't want to go down to negativity. It's just, it started to put kind of a negative taint on that day, and I just won't have it. It was one of those things where, hey, you're going to have it all the time, and we're going to move on. And this is a great race, and we're going to enjoy it. Even if unfortunately something happened. In hindsight, is there something that we could have done better? Absolutely. Hindsight, could the riders done something better? Absolutely. But we're going to learn from it. We're going to move on.
Yep.
If somebody would tell me that they didn't have a great experience this weekend, I would tell you probably need to choose a different sport, because it was something special this weekend. We had some of the most special people, and I'm not talking outside people. I'm talking getting to showcase our series, and our people to great people. I mean, we had a lot of outside people too, but the best part of the whole weekend, Chris, was hearing people from Canesville. And I heard stories on Sunday about what they expected it to be and what they end up seeing. And what they seen was the same thing that we talk about, is all the great people from the small town of Canesville. But then you turn around and you have all these people that we could highlight our people and how good and how great our families are and stuff. And it was just such an opportunity, and man, it was a blessing. So we can't let that negative stuff, or the as someone said there, the haters, we just can't let it go. I mean, there's some people that's always going to have something negative to say. And if you let them in, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? Let them be there, let them have fun. But like they said, I think Matt just said, their haters are going to hate, you know what I mean? And it's great, so you got to move on. You got to take the bad with the good in this deal. I'm sure they were disappointed. We were disappointed, but at the end of the day, God, it was awesome.
It was. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better weekend overall.
And at the end of the race, I must say there was a handful of people that honestly told me there's no way I'm racing. No way I'm racing. And they decided to race, and at the end of the day, it's like they were so happy, and I believe that they had so much fun, and it was different. And I only heard like 2 people told me they didn't like the track. Everybody else, literally, I heard so many times it was my favorite track ever. And these are people that's raced a lot of times, and it just, I don't know, it was such a special weekend. And then to get done with, I don't know, it just, when we got done with the whole situation, the whole race, and we went to awards, and just seeing how proud people were to get that Penland, and, it was super special, and people are leaving and everything. I don't know. It was amazing,
Yeah.
But
so, already talks. What's going to happen next year?
Well,
we have the Penland 2.0.
No, Chris, this was just a one-time only. We will never be doing a Penland again. This is a one-time only, a special deal. So I just want to put that to rest, that, we will probably never be back to Canesville. Not just kidding. It's funny. I've been asked that so many times. Well, 100%. we are going back to Gainesville, and we will. It has to be an every year event. I was just joking. Every year event. I mean, it's something special. And right now I can tell you, I don't know any changes that we're going to make other than, we'll take stuff in, right on the chest, and we'll figure things out on the track, and we'll do a better job. We'll figure out things, on there. I think it'll be a lot better the second time being not a virgin track,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, how could you not want to go back?
Yeah. I mean, after watching Colby, I don't get out much on the track. I have to stay around scoring, registration side just to help out. But man, after watching Colby's video, I got to see a little bit of Nick Bogren's video. Didn't get to watch it all, Nick. Got occupied with other stuff. But man, what a beautiful track. I mean, one thing we got to get is one of those 360 cameras off the start. I think that would have been cool to see it right there planted on the hay bale. But yeah, start was awesome. I mean, and even running through the timber, you don't realize left, right, up, down, like a video game trying to follow these guys through the trails and how close they get and the hooting and the holler and to try to get around the person in front of you. So much goes on. As a previous racer, we both raced back in the day. I think I was faster than you. But just to see how they're doing it today, man, great. If anybody else has any videos they want to share, message me. I'd love to watch them.
Yeah, it was special. But, I'm still going to go back and I'll say it. You might get tired of me saying it, Chris, but this could have been a perfect race. Everything, but I think if it was in any other location, you would be like, okay, can we make it better? I mean, every single thing, I'll always say this, every single thing about Gainesville makes me want to go back. Everything from the landowners to the people there, to just everything. It has a chance to continue to grow and grow and grow. And today, the amount of messages I got, almost apologies saying, I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but I will be back, and it was just really, really cool. And it almost scares me that people, if you think about that, said they wanted to be there and couldn't, and the people that say that I didn't hear about till the end. And we had some people wanting to sign up on Friday, I think, from Oklahoma, Texas, maybe, or Florida. I can't remember, but it was just this has a chance to really grow as long as it grows for the right reason, And what I mean by that, it's got to come in for the purpose, This ain't a big $10,000 payout. This is coming in to experience something, for our sport, and and hopefully we continue to do it the right way and stuff. So I don't know. It should be fun. So yeah, be interesting.
I'm seeing the comments blow up about this track could be a potential for 10 hour when we can probably put those rumors to rest.
So you and I have talked about this several times, and I just want to put it like this. You never say never, okay? Never say never.
Never.
But I'm gonna say that here's the thing. Let me just do a little history on that. I won't get lost, okay? But I raced in the very first 12 hours of America, right? And against Mike Penland. Remember, I passed Mike Penland in the very first 12 hours of America. But anyway, with that being said, I had a blast. But when they stopped, we didn't start that because we were the first ones to ever do anything like that. That's because it was a great event and they end up stopped doing it. There was a void to be filled and we filled it. And I'm so proud of our team, the way that we handled the Heartland Challenge. And there was a lot of stuff that went on there too, but it was phenomenal. And times change, sponsors change. We had the same sponsor for what, 10, 15 years? I mean, what race has the same sponsor like that for that much? That was almost $25,000 we paid out for the longest time. And that's what I'm getting at. The big money doesn't make a race. It gets people to come in for one reason and they leave for that reason. And we've seen that as soon as that money left, the machine, the race shrank, and
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not for it. I'm not for doing it just for that. I think it has to do more, and times have changed, people have changed. Maybe it was almost too tough of a race, some people that went to our races in Carlisle, would leave and say, hey, that's one of the toughest endurance races I've ever done for 10 hours, like I said, we didn't do it to compete against anybody else. And then a race started to compete against us. So it kind of divides the country, and you get half and half. And it's like, I don't know. I just think that I'm not saying we did a great job. I'm saying we did our best job, we never once tried to have the biggest event. We tried to have the best that we could put on, and I appreciate everybody that was there and supported it. And everybody, I got messages this year asking if we were doing it because they were coming from Texas. They were coming from, wherever it was. But long story short, we put it to bed for a reason. And it's very, very hard to do a one-off event without a big sponsor. And we kind of reshuffled the deck, and we knew we wanted to do something called the Penland, and I guess long story short, we've put that race to bed, and I don't foresee it in our future ever doing the Heartland again, the 10-hour. There's a race that does it right now, the 9 hours of Havoc. I think it's coming up, and it's probably a good race to go to. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to do that, I would fully support that and go show off. And, I don't know. I just don't see us doing it. So let me just put it to that. It won't be in Canesville. We won't be doing a 10-hour in the near future. And our focus is the series and Canesville being that special race. So.
So speaking of kind of Canesville, I heard some feedback from some of the landowners. I think that right off the start they were in their own, like how. Okay, let's kind of like back up. How many landowners did you have to deal with, and how many properties did our racers race on this weekend? Do you know off the top of your head?
So let me tell you, yes, not counting the land that we actually had the track on. I did talk to landowner there, but I want to be very, very clear. I never talked to the rest of the landowners once until this weekend, and I got to meet 2 or 3 of them. Adam Ratliff talked to 9 different landowners for us to get us through that start, and I don't want any kind of misconfusion on that. He is the one that got us approval. And when we went down there, Chris, I told this story, but you and I had talked, we're going to race through the town. We're going down the roads. When I got down there, we couldn't do it. There's no way I could send my racers down those roads. They were too narrow. There's too many mailboxes, too many electrical boxes. I couldn't do it. And when I seen the timber line outside of town, and I was like, man, that might work if we could get in there. But that was all relying on Adam, because he knows the guys, to get in there and get the approval to get through their land. So 100% of that, like I said, only a couple of them when I even know if they walk by us, but so many of them was just so willing. That's what I'm saying. In Canesville, it's like they just bought into it, and it was great. So yeah, 9 different landowners. That's not counting the square, or the main street, I guess. That's not counting going through that little city park. That's not counting going through the city hall parking lot. What other race, can you do that, and the history there of that used to be the river where we drove, we went off and went through there. The one thing that I lacked at doing this weekend, which I promise you, Chris, maybe you even want to go. I don't care if I have to drive back through. I want to go through their little museum, their history museum across the street. I love to go through that thing. And after being there and hearing the stories about the past and stuff and moving the river, and yeah, it just, I guess maybe 100 years from now, You know, maybe some of those are 50, 60, 70 years from now, some of those little kids will be telling their kids, you know, and maybe we'll make the history thing sometime across the road. You know, a long time ago, there was a bunch of, 200 goofballs on ATVs that, were in the streets of, Canesville, it's just so neat. I could keep going forever, but seeing the videos, like you said, seeing all that, seeing the responses from people, man, it's just, it's unbelievable. Yeah. It was just such a rewarding race, seeing the smiles on people's faces, Graham Winnacombe, saying I can't race because my back, to seeing them there, seeing Becky uptown, with everything going on. And,
I know.
I seen Graham say today, and he had told me this is his last race. And I seen he had posted a thing. I think he started second row, if I remember right. And he finished the race. And that's a win in itself, because he hadn't done it for a while, and honestly didn't think he ever would. But hearing the response, like, this is my last race and I'm happy with it, and when you hear that stuff, it's just like, darn well, going into this race, at the end of the day, no matter what anybody else said, I could have blanked it out. If we made Mike Penland proud, I was happy, so to have a few that, that question, to the hundreds that enjoyed it, to some saying it was the best ever, that they experienced, just to see the smiles on the faces and the people out there for the parade, man, watching those starts. I'm telling you, I was literally I believe I was the biggest fan up there. I wanted to watch it so bad, and I just couldn't, but it was so proud to see everybody there smiling and watching. And, the Zukowski family coming back from racing trophy trucks. They haven't been racing four-wheelers forever. I didn't get to spend any time with them, but it was like phenomenal having those people there. Rob Smith, I don't think I've ever had a race where Rob Smith's been there. He's been a legend in his own time, and it's just to have those people there. But I keep saying, with all of these people, and the highlight is still showing our series off to everybody, having them guys say, man, that guy's fast, or, this guy over here, and just hearing that it isn't getting better than that. It's, yeah. Anyway, I better shut up and let you go.
So kind of like what I was getting at, we went across 9 different properties, and we've got several residents of Canesville also reaching in. Many thanks to everybody to let us put this on, let us use their property, go through it, whether it be 100 yards or a mile or two. I mean, it was such an awesome track. I'm hearing there's more. There's rumors. There's potential landowners that there's more land.
Oh boy.
That maybe it could even be, an ultimate start here, end here type of a race. It could go that long. So, but maybe we could do it next year and only have a 2-lap race. Who knows? So,
I don't think we'll talk to Adam about extending it out not for a while.
We'll let him recuperate for a couple months.
There's a lot of work that went on there, and it was just so odd, Chris. I mean, I'm so happy, don't get me wrong, but I was telling so many people down there, if any time on Saturday, at any time you stop for 30 seconds, there was more breeze in that 30 seconds than there was in the last 30 days. I mean, it was an average of probably 95 degrees and zero breeze, zero airflow, and then and you heard me say this, I know you did. How many times you hear me say jokingly when people say it's going to be hot August 1st? Remember what I kept saying? Yeah. I ordered 75 and partly sunny. That's what I got ordered for that weekend. That's dang near what it was. I didn't order the rain, but it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah. It was just, I'm telling you, Mike is such a Christian. I look at this race, Chris, and I just think, man, did we have more help? Yeah. Did we have more help? making this what it was for the reason we were doing it, and
Yep.
I'll take it. So
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, for what we have and for the internal crew we've got, it was a special event.
yep.
Now somebody wants to put in an order for 70 and cloudy for Weldon.
I don't know if I'm gonna abuse that, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll whisper a little bit instead of really ask for it, but it was something. So, but man, there's got to be some great pictures. I gotta get with Sabrina because I know Dirt Wheels is looking for some pictures. I know down at the Bethany Republican, was super happy with it. I think they're going to be doing a very nice thing on it. Yeah, just really, really cool, So I had a great conversation with the gentleman that was there and came back out on Sunday from Canesville and was telling me, at church that day, how they were even talking about it and how a lot of people wasn't sure, the type of people that would be there, and he was telling me how when he first got there, that morning, how, we were asking people to remove their hats, and join us in prayer, and national anthem and everything. And it was I think, and I knew he would, how much I talk about all of our race family. I think our race family made a good impression. And I think Canesville made a great impression on our race family. And I think together it's just amazing, So yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just responding. Got a question about when points would be updated.
When is
points,
that? You're always kind of a little slow on that. When is that going to be updated?
I updated and posted points last night.
You did? Amazing.
As discussed, it takes me a little bit of time. I think I got a little too tired late last night and maybe fudged one already. I got a message, so I had to fix that early this morning. So,
nice. Good job,
looking
Chris.
at those ones and zeros, or sometimes the zero overrides a one. I've done that a couple times this year.
Yep. So
updated points. I won't do a championship point until round 7. I kind of step back away from that. If you guys want to figure out your championship points, you can do that for your class. It just is a lot to keep track of after each round. It's countless of hours. It's just all manual. So I'll do championship points after round 7.
Nice. Yeah.
So a couple side notes. Here's another comment about the kids. Oh my gosh, I've heard several comments about, kids riding bikes back in town and just being in the town was just, residents looked forward to that and liked it.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Not to switch gears, but we have some housekeeping to do as well. As we switch gears, and it's always to the next one. So I had to switch gears this morning. You said it, told everybody when they were questioning me this weekend, what about state fair? My gears now have switched down to state fair. I'm trying to get it ready as it's going to be fast approaching. So Chad Bodorf, Tylube reached out to us tonight, letting us know that he will be at the state fair, but he will only be taking pre-orders. So if you need something, let him know ahead of time so he can bring it Saturday state fair race and get it to you.
And once again, I know we talk about that all the time, but let's see, do I have to carry race fuel in my trailer? to a race, or can I show up to the race and somebody else carry it and just pick it up there? I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. If I can save $5 or I can have somebody bring it there, I'm like, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? You're gonna go through that much. It's like I don't have to drive anywhere. I can't believe, he's not overwhelmed by people wanting race fuel at the track. But
and also in addition, State Fair, that's fast approaching. So we have until August 13th to register. So we'll start publishing that information. That way it's closed a little early so I can get all the lineups finalized and get them all published. Get everybody all sorted and get their get all the lineups finalized.
Doing a little housekeeping here, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't like to say I'm sorry very often, but I am going to say I'm sorry. I had a couple people reach out to me asking about if we were doing the race, and stuff. And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we be, and we had a small talk with my crew about something that was going on. And evidently, I don't know who dreamt it or said it or whatever, but there's a rumor going around that we weren't going to do the State Fair race. And, I don't know who would be going around saying that, but stirring the pot again. But, I think there's a lot of drama queens out there, and just trying to stir the pot, I guess. But we are 100% doing the race. And, I guess maybe you shouldn't be there if you're going to stir the pot like that. So anyway, yeah, just one of those things that just always amazes me that somebody has that much time to do that, but it is what it is. So, but we will be doing the fair on what's this, the 4th year in a row.
Yeah,
the 4th year in a row. So I can honestly, every time I tell you this, I know it's a pain in your behind. It's probably one of the easiest races for me outside of having to work all night this week or this year. But it's going to be a pain in our butt as far as getting our people in there and setting up for the display, on the Grand Concourse on Friday. With the rodeo going on Thursday, Friday, we can't start building that track until they're saying roughly 3:00 on Friday, so then you got the drones and you got the fireworks going off that night. We'll have to obviously stop for and get out of the way. So we're going to be working all night long to get that done between building it, watering it, rolling it, we're going to be out there probably all night long getting that done. So in case there's a question, there's 2 or 3 of us getting in that morning. We can't even go in there. We have to park outside in order to get our machines in there. There will be nobody pulling in at all on Friday unless you are with the crew. So please don't think that unless you have something to do with building the track or something, you will not be coming in on Friday night, no matter what. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. So, but again, we're only 2 weeks out. Remind everybody, what time should you be there if you're getting in line? Gates open at 7. Chris, can I be there at 7?
I would suggest you be already sitting in line at 6 a.m. That's
6 a.m.
about when we get there. University headed east, far right lane, coming to gate. I want to say it's gate 2. That's 30th and University roughly. Sit in line. You'll see everybody backing up. They sometimes will open up that gate a little bit early for us, but officially it doesn't open until 7. And then it's just to get to the other gate for pits, it takes some time, and it's a little bit of patience from everybody as we get everybody in and parked.
So yeah, be there early. I think last year they did let us in like 20 minutes early, if I remember right, because I was shocked.
Yeah,
they just let our people in, to get in there and get going and everything. So it should go a little smoother this year coming through the gate. But always give yourself time. And then remember, when it comes to actually getting in the gate and parking, there's a rhyme and a reason why we do the parking the way we do. we obviously try to get the bigger ones, parked because we can get the little ones can be moved around a little bit more, so. But we try to get you in there parked as fair as we can. I know sometimes it hasn't worked, but we've learned some stuff over the last couple of years, and it seems to be a lot easier. So, yeah. So, and on Saturday night, remember after the races, they have to be out of there. I'll get a hard time. We'll say it next week for sure. I'll get a hard point, but last year I think it was 8:00. They had to have everybody out of there, and even if you're gonna go, you at least have to move your trailer away from where they're putting the drones, because the drones have to be set up in a certain spot. It's right on our main pit lane. That's also where the fireworks go. So we have to get the trailers moved. We just have to, we just got to find out where we got to put them, or you can pull them right outside. If you've got an enclosed trailer, you can lock and stuff right outside the gate, so, but yeah, so.
All right, so a couple questions real quick that kind of fired in here, then we can wrap up. Any locations closed Friday night for camping?
I do this every year, Chris. If you want to go pay somewhere, you're more than welcome to. There is places, but they do fill up, State Fair. If you want to park, I remember that first year, I think I had 20 people camped at our location, our place. But you're more than welcome to park at my place. You can park in the backyard. You can park driveway. I don't care. You can park anywhere you want. But it's all level, everything. More than welcome to park here and be comfortable. It takes me literally 15 minutes. As a crow flies, it's about 7 miles to the deal, but it takes me literally 15 minutes with the way the road goes and everything to get to the state fairgrounds from here. So,
gotcha.
But with that being said, if you're not from here, we'll talk about it more next week. But you have to be on University headed east at, what's that, 30th? We'll go over that next time, but there's a certain way that you have to either have to be going south or east on 30th or east on University. You can't be going west. So
preferably going east, because you have with cops and traffic flow, they may push you away from coming west. So we'll get that. I'm making a note here for us to kind of talk about that.
Yep.
Okay. Also, question about how we're going to do lineups and how we randomize kind of the heats and all of that information. So typically we do 15, sometimes 16 for adults only per class that we allow in. What I'll do Thursday night after cutoff is I'll put all the names into a randomizer, and it'll randomize the starting lineup. So I don't pick and choose. It's all done. I tried to do that a couple years live, and it just took a lot of time, and we just don't have that this year. We're going to close down Thursday. I'll most likely be at the track on Friday helping out. So I will get these lineups posted myself and get them listed out there as soon as possible. But it's all random. I don't pick and choose. We just throw it out there. It's so much easier. Random.org, I think, is the website I use. So it's free.
Chris, I appreciate what you just said, but most days we have 2 days to get stuff done. We only got 1 day to get stuff done this time. So if you don't want to come out, you don't have to.
Oh. God, I was nice. Only made one short joke to you. I will have to say we forgot a very important thing that would happen this weekend. As we were trying to speed through here, trying to keep it to an hour. We're past that now. But the pit boards. Oh my gosh. Super ATV, right?
Yep.
They came through. They supplied the pit boards. The first 100 kids came in the gate, which I think almost every kid got one. So awesome to see all the sharing, exchanging. I have my pile of all the stickers and everything of all these cool kids. I mean, we didn't have this stuff growing up. Kids just coming and handing me their stickers, and oh my God, I can't wait. I'm going to put them somewhere special on my wall behind me. But that was probably the funnest part Friday, the whole exchange. Back and forth of kids offering their stuff, or they coming up and asking us for stickers. Man, I got too busy. I was going to have some of our podcast stickers made, but things just, not enough time or enough in a day. So we'll plan ahead for next year, and I hope that we can do something similar. I mean, it's such a good, cool event.
Yeah, and you're right. There's so many people made stickers just for that, and it was so cool. So
Yes.
cool, man. Yeah.
So,
But yep, really quick too. The other thing I forgot, we talked about how much we made for Mike and everything on that silent auction, but DP Brakes, Larry Mills, Bones at OMF, Kawasaki, with Tyler and Lincoln and Russ in California, Rocks, Jay's Parts. Oh man, Penland's brought so much stuff. I know I'm forgetting some people, and I probably shouldn't have started, but thank you to everybody. CAC, or not University, CAC with the gun company that did it. Yeah, it was just amazing what they did. So, but
yep. And I see the comment, Marvin Scott Bacon. I don't know what to call you, Scott, Marvin. You're all over the place, but I love the idea of a flag both on the UTV that Mike was in, as well as a flag in the back, and then also Mike Penland flag as well. I think we got to create that logo. But I also thought it was awesome. I'm hearing when we're at the beginning of the podcast here about how when you play the national anthem, everybody turned around to the house across the street that had a flag. That special. I mean,
yeah, we that was a situation where originally there was going to be, I didn't bring a flag because there was going to be a flag hung up over at the fire station on a piece of machinery. And it's like, we were getting ready. It's like, oh my gosh, we don't have a flag. And it was just like a calling, like I said, we turned around and it's like, it was perfect, So yeah, it was really, really cool situation. So, yep.
I know it was mentioned the couple's name that owned the property. Were they home? Does anybody know if they were home and everybody was just staring at their house?
I hope so, because that was really neat. It would have been cool to see if anybody has a picture of that. That would have been cool. Everybody staring over there. That would have been really neat. So, and huge thanks to Emily Gasink for their prayer and Don Kelch for singing the national anthem. It's so nice having, our own people doing that instead of listening to a video, or something. So, yeah. I'm trying to keep you to an hour, and
I know
you keep stretching it on me.
Because, man, there's so many things that I don't want to forget. It was all important. I mean, the littlest of things for this weekend. So,
as a whole, though, Chris, I think it comes down to this: everybody that came in from a long distance, or whether you were across the street, I think at the end of the day, this last weekend was really, really good for our sport. I think it was. And I think everything put our sport in a positive light with new people, that was brought to attention, from the racers and stuff. And yeah, I think it was a positive thing for our sport, and I'll take that any day.
Yes. It was. So many people reached out or even just was tuning in. Even to this podcast here that didn't race, but they heard about it, maybe through a 4x4 invite and was following that racer. That it's gotten a lot of attention out there, and Sarah and her network of posting things that there's a lot of people that got exposed to this event, and that'll help it grow for next year.
Having said that, there was a situation there where so many people from so far away, and then we ran out of some of the bigger sizes. And I mean, we had a couple people come and want larges and extra larges at the end of the race, and we were sold out pretty early. So we've had so many. Trace, I think, has like 50 some people already that wanted to order stuff that didn't get it, and some didn't know about it till it's too late. She surprised me, and today she's putting in another order. So you can pre-order right now, and she's only ordering, what we need. So if you want a sweatshirt, if you want a t-shirt, feel free to hop on the website, or if you can't find it, give us a call. Let us know, send a message, whatever. But we can always bring them to the next race, or if you're a distance, they can be shipped out, So, yeah.
So if I remember right, I'm trying to find it here real quick. If you missed out, you can order a shirt until Friday, August 7th. So this Friday. She's going to leave it or I guess we can call it post orders, but you can order another shirt in case you didn't get one, or even a hoodie. We got so many requests for hoodies that put in your order, and like she mentioned in her post, we can ship it or hold it until well done.
Yep. So cool.
All right.
I think Nathan's referring to the landowners next door.
Yeah, they were outside.
That was really cool. It'd be interesting to talk to them and just get their thoughts on that, but that was really, really cool. So
yeah.
If anybody's got that picture though, I would love to see a picture of that. That would be really neat. So, but hey, Chris, I don't know what else you got. I would just like to truly, truly thank everybody from the gate, the Cora and Ricky and Melinda at the gate, everything throughout the whole weekend, top to bottom. Whether it was you were there helping, you were there watching, whether you were there, racing, whether you were a landowner, whether you were a spectator in town, and came out to be a part of, just any part of it, man. Thank you so much. It meant the world to all of us. And again, I think it put our sport, in a positive light. And we just couldn't ask for anything more than having Penlands there to experience it firsthand. And, I use the word luck any day. I felt like our whole team did really good. And, with a little bit of luck on our side, everything went just really well. And I was very, very proud of everybody and very thankful for everybody had a part of it.
All right. Well, thanks, buddy. Thanks for those that have stuck around. We'll see you next week. Downshift Sammy.
Shit.